It's powerful, insightful, educative, interesting, didactic. Welcome to the first edition of Insights with Victoria Allwell. Excited about today's show. I'm excited about you. Thank you for joining in. It's a beautiful day indeed, a beautiful time of the year, and it's a time for you to look within yourself. Just give yourself some time and a moment and ask yourself, am I going into the year with wounds? Am I riding on the wheels of pains, broken hearts, deep wounds that can make my year feel shallow or affect me in the course of the year? If that is your case, then it's the time for you to drop them and ensure that you make the most of your year. Drop everything that would stand in your way and stop you from being a better you and building a better life. This is the time to do that. Now is always the best time. With me today is Suzanne Bailey's, and she would be sharing our story, one I find quite mind blowing, extremely mind blowing actually. Yeah, so you would find out in the course of the session or edition today, and I think you should learn from our story. Our story is one that would teach you and help you deal with whatever wounds or pains you think you're yet to deal with. And yes, this is always the best time of the year to make sure that you're not moving on with anything shady or anything negative that would affect the results and the impact of your year. Do have a great time as you enjoy
Just
the rest
glorifying
of the
God.
session.
Wow, nice, great to hear. So before we started the session, I already told my audience that you're going to share mind-blowing story with us, something that they would learn from definitely. So tell us about your daughter. Tell us about the great experience she had. At what age did she have that experience, and what impact did it have on you? How did you feel about it?
Okay, well, I am Susan Bailey, as you all know, and
Yeah.
my daughter was at the age, I would not call her name. She was the age of 13 years old, just on the threshold of being a young woman, and she was raped. And it was not something that any parent would like to know or to experience from their child. Any of the children, and I mean any, meaning whether it be boy or girl, right?
Yeah.
And because we live in a society where it has no kind of thing for gender. They're affecting, they're abusing both sexes. And when that happened to her, I I committed. This is really me here. I committed immediately to God. I connected with Him because I knew in my own self it was not going to be nice. The smiling person that you see me here now today is God's doing in my life. I know without Him doing what He has done in my life, the possibility of the negative side was not going to be nice, right? I wouldn't go into detail about that part of me that was before Christ, but I know in Christ, this is me. And this is who God made me to be. And I remember committing that day to Him immediately. I had some decisions to make, and the decisions was outside of my daughter's thinking. It was outside of her emotions. I didn't think about her emotions. I didn't think of my emotions. I thought about the kingdom of God. That was foremost in my mind. God's kingdom. How is this going to affect Him? How this is going to affect the saints? And they would say, but it's heartless for what I did because why didn't I think about my own daughter? And that is the one of that's one of the questions each one of us will have to make answer at some point in our lives.
Sure.
Do we think about ourselves in this time, or do we think about what God is saying we should do in this time? And I thank God I had that experience early
Mm.
because I made the decision to say, God, you need to fix this because I don't know how to do it. And I'm going to fast and pray until you do it. And I really just was fasting, not so much the praying part, but the fasting part. I said, no water passing these lips
Mm.
until you do something. So I even did like a Moses fast for a day, no water, no food.
Wow.
And I said, this must not be heard in the community, and the ministry must not get blamed either. So that basically is that I denied myself literally of that emotion of what would. The pain was there, I could tell you. The pain was there. I saw what I saw. I looked for what I needed to see. Like our doctor would examine, I did examine. Because as a mother, that's my right to do.
Yeah.
I saw evidence. So the physical human part of me would have experienced that pain and that hurt. But the spirit part of me had to rise to the fore to take precedent over what my natural human emotional instinct would have done or felt.
Mm. Okay,
Right?
we know how sensitive this experience is. If you felt that way already about the pain, not even being the person who experienced it, how do you think it was for your daughter? Was she able to recover from the trauma? Some people experience rape and they just talk about it all day long, that's all they talk about all their days. They don't stop. Some others experience it and they keep it within and they are broken on the inside and they hate the world. They just separate themselves from the rest of the world. So how was it for your daughter? Did she recover from the trauma? And if she did, could you take us through the healing process?
Well, what happened was this because I never really spoken to her about it as such, as opposed to praying for her. I took her for physical counsel, I took her for spiritual counsel. And in both cases, whenever the physical counsel told me to treat her, she was a child. So there was some things in her childhood that I needed to bring her up to where she was at that time to deal with some stuff. And I did it, and she was able to come out. But as I said, you cannot tell what is a person's mind in their heart. You cannot. They would say one thing with their mouth, but inside there's only God can deal with that. But one of the manifestation I saw that was positive was that she became involved in ministry and she was functioning as a normal child in ministry, right? But even when I spoke to her the other day, I spoke to her that I'm going to do, we doing this interview, and she said to me, "Mommy, let that be, let that rest." And I said to her, I said, I was told that it's going to help somebody. And she said, well, okay. She waited a while. She paused. She think, I don't know what was going on in her head. But she paused and she think, and she said, Mommy, well, if it's going to help somebody, well, then all right.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes. So
Wow. I
I am
actually,
under
okay.
permission.
Oh yeah, just in case she was listening, I would like to say thank you to her. I mean, it's amazing, and to have this experience come out in the open, considering that you need someone out there who's broken as well, who feels really wounded by being raped or something and needs to
Mm.
heal or is yet to heal. This experience is necessary. So when you discovered that the rapist eventually was caught, shot, and rushed to the hospital, how in God's name did you have the courage to go and pray for this person? I mean, when you told me that you went to pray, I was like, this is out of the world. You went to pray for someone who raped your daughter and you understood the pain involved. How did you get the courage to do
I said,
that?
I give God the
Yeah.
situation from the first. And whatever he gives him, he takes. He don't just do like us, we give people things and we take it back. He doesn't do that.
Mm.
So it was years after I'm talking about this person was shot because he did it to somebody else.
Oh, wow.
And the person's family the person's family shot him in his knees.
Wow.
And we got wind of it that he was in the hospital. And my husband and I had a decision to make. And immediately we both made the same decision at the same time. We are going to be praying for this guy. And um, and I knew then that God actually had dealt with our hearts, and that the Lord wanted us to let He fix that heart of ours, and He wanted us to even experience what we did experience, that indeed we did not have any unforgiveness inside of there. Because
Mm.
unforgiveness is one of the main reasons we're going to certainly not make it in the kingdom. Unforgiveness. I
Mm.
believe that with all my heart. We cannot have unforgiveness and get in there. Because if Jesus on the cross said, Lord, Father, forgive them for they know not what, and look where he was. Stephen, when he was being sold, first he said, he got a standing ovation from Jesus when he did. He said, forgive them. So forgiveness is one of the things that God expects us to do, to forgive others. And when we got the call, when we understood that he was shot, he was hospitalized, we went until we found out what ward he was in, and we went to the hospital to pray for this young man. And he was lying there on the bed with on the police protection because he committed a crime, so he was under the police protection there at the hospital. And we spoke with him, and we told him we forgive him or whatever, and we would like to pray for him for his healing. And of course, we wanted to lay hands, and we had to ask the police permission to touch him. And they gave us permission to touch him. So we lay hands on him and we prayed for him. And we left the hospital. And I can safely say we left happy, we left joyful because we accomplished something that Jesus would have done and others
Oh,
may have
wow.
done in maybe similar, even worse situation than us, to forgive the
Mm.
perpetrators of crime that has been done against you in such a animalistic way, because rape is not something that is nice. It's not just your physical body, they rape your emotions, they take away from you everything that is human. It removes it from you. It makes you feel like you are less than anybody else. And why I'm able to say this too is because I remembered um, I was home here and somebody came into my house and they stole something from me. And you
Oh,
hear what I'm
wow.
saying? They stole something from me. And I remember as I entered from the door where we usually come into the house, as I put my key into the door, I knew somebody was in my house. Immediately I began to feel as if that somebody, like if I was raped, like if they took something from me,
Oh, wow.
and I did not like the feeling at all. So then I understood what feeling rape was like. It's like,
Yeah.
somebody came into your life, your space, and touched something they had no right to touch.
Mm.
And that
I
is
can
how I felt
imagine.
when I found it. And it's just the money was stolen. It's just the money was stolen, But the point of the matter is this: they came in unannounced and take something from you that was important to you.
Mm.
And that is
I
how I
can
can say,
imagine
well,
how that.
that experience gave me that feeling that this is how people feel when they rape. They
Yeah.
feel somebody taking something away from them. It's a loss. It's a loss, you know. So I think when I think about it, this person in the natural really didn't deserve forgiveness. That is from our humanistic standpoint. But as far as God is concerned, they didn't deserve it, but they need to be forgiven.
Yeah, I think one of the things that your story or experience has taught me is that love is genuine, that
That, oh my God,
there's
don't
love
watch me.
beyond what we can imagine. I mean, it takes a lot
It
of
is not
love.
human.
I mean, it has to be love from God. It takes a lot of love to just, think about going to pray or think about forgiving quickly someone who caused your own child so much pain and all. And I think that's phenomenal. Thank you so much for, that it's something that we should all put into our year, the year 2021. You're holding on to unforgiveness. There's someone you're holding on to in your heart that you don't want to let
Mm,
go. I think
mm,
it's best to let go. I've been there where, I could literally feel the pain inside of me, that the desire to let go. And I understand what it means for someone to hurt you, for someone to do something real, real bad. And you just feel, no way, there's no way I'm forgiving this person. There's no way I'm letting it go. I'm so done forever. I don't care if this person rots in hell. Hey,
Let it
just calm
go.
down.
Let it go. Let it
Like,
go.
calm
Let
down
it go.
and
Let it
let
go.
it go. You can't even
Let it
start off
go.
your year in such a
Let
way.
it
You
go.
can't make the best of yourself in such a way.
Mm.
So you let go, and that's how to ensure that you make the most of your year too.
You let
2021
God.
cannot just go. So let go and let God. So
Let
I'm
go
gonna
and
ask
let
this
God.
question. I'm going to ask this question now. I wanted to ask you, what did it teach you? But of course, you shared some things already. So I can tell a little bit of what the experience taught you. So now, what is your advice to someone out there who's saying, I don't know what you're talking about, Suzanne? That's your story. I'm never gonna give up on this. I'm not gonna let go. Whoever, whatever it is that would come to me and tell me to let this go, it's never happening. And someone is bitter and broken and
Well,
saying, Suzanne, this is not happening, never. How can you help such a person and heal from their wounds and just let
to me
go?
right now, even as you asked the question, Vicky, my heart became very full because I'll tell you why my heart became full. You are telling God he's a liar, and that is, you can't do that. Don't ever tell God he's a liar. When you say to God, I cannot do something, you're telling God he's a liar.
Mm.
And God cannot lie. And that brings a bit of heaviness to my heart to think that you stand before God and say you're a liar, God. Because that's what you're saying. God expects us to be like his son when he walked the earth. And no matter what did him, we did it even unknowingly.
Mm.
We were in Adam. So all men sin be Adam. But in Christ we are all made righteous. And you want to tell a holy and a righteous God you cannot forgive somebody who hurt you? Come on.
Mm.
We are not greater than Jesus. We are not greater than him at all. And it brings a pain to my heart to do that. That's what we do all the time. And we refuse to go pain and hurt that somebody has inflicted upon us. We are telling God a lie. That's the greatest pain.
Wow.
That greatest pain.
Thank you
That's my
so
heart,
much.
Vicky. That's
Yeah,
my
thank
heart.
you. Thank you so much for
It's not
sharing. We've
about
come
us.
to true, true, true. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, we've run out of time already. Thank you so much. I mean, I
Oh my
actually
God.
literally called this show When Love Heals Deep Wounds, because this is just it. Just let your heart be open to love. Understand that when you have a heart of love, it's all that you need to let go of every pain, every wound, and every hurt. And just like Suzette Bailey's just shared with us right now, understand that it takes the love of God. You cannot do it by yourself. We do not have that natural ability as
Yes.
humans to love in that way, but it is God's love
Mm.
that fills our hearts and helps us to deal with these things. Thank you so much again for your time. I truly appreciate this.
Amen.
Thank you to you out there who joined us for the show today. To subscribe, come on, click on the subscribe button now. Till we come again your way. Bye.